Welcome back to the Chad DiMera Channel. You guys, we need to talk about the absolute bombshell that is about to rock Salem to its very core. The spoilers are pointing to a massive, game-changing moment involving young Rachel Black. And I am literally on the edge of my seat. Word on the street is that Rachel's going to be completely stunned when she finds out her friend Sophia Choi is dead. But here's the kicker. Rachel might be sitting on a shocking clue, and she is about to spill the tea to none other than the legendary Dr. Marlena Evans. Can you believe it? We all know that Kristen DiMera has been working overtime to cover her tracks after that horrific attack on Sophia by the river, but it looks like Kristen's own flesh and blood might be the one to bring her entire evil empire crashing down. I am so here for this. Let's be real for a second about the absolute nightmare that is Kristen DiMera. I have said it a million times on the Chad DiMera channel, and I will say it again. Kristen is a monster. She has no boundaries, no morals, and no soul. We all saw her bash poor Sophia over the head with a rock and have her goons dump the body in the river. That's crazy. And then she had the absolute audacity to frame Holly Jonas with a fake suicide note. It is sickening. But what Kristen completely underestimated is the wild card locked away in Bayview, her own daughter. Thanks to Brady Black finally growing a backbone and overturning Kristen's toxic mandate, Marlena is now allowed to visit Rachel at the psychiatric facility. Brady is fighting tooth and nail for his little girl's soul, and bringing Marlena in is the smartest move he has made in years. You have to look at the deep psychological profile of Rachel Black to truly understand the magnitude of this upcoming twist. This poor girl never really stood a chance, did she? She is the literal product of one of the most unhinged plot twists in soap history. Remember when Kristen stole Teresa Donovan's embryo? Rachel has that dark, manipulative, calculating DiMera DNA coursing through her veins, but she also has the inherent goodness of the Black family fighting for dominance. Right now, she is isolated in Bayview, a place dripping with the dark history of Salem's legacy characters. But Rachel is highly observant. She is a mini Kristen in the making, which means she doesn't just sit around crying, she gathers ammunition. She collects secrets, and she and Sophia had a very specific, very secretive connection that is about to blow this whole murder mystery wide open. Think back to the history between Rachel and Sophia. These two are not just casual acquaintances. We know from the timeline that Rachel actually had evidence against Sophia regarding the whole supplement scandal. Rachel knew that Sophia was playing dirty games. If Rachel knew about the supplements, what else did she know? What if Sophia, in a moment of teenage panic or arrogance, bragged to Rachel about her secret alliance with Kristen? What if Sophia told Rachel about the hit on Johnny DiMera? Imagine the absolute shock and horror washing over Rachel when Marlena sits her down in that sterile Bayview visiting room and gently breaks the news that Sophia took her own life. Rachel is smart. She is going to know immediately that the suicide story is a massive, steaming pile of garbage. And you won't believe what happens next when Marlena starts applying her world-class psychiatric skills. Marlena Evans is not just a therapist. She is a Salem institution. She has survived demonic possessions, Stefano DiMera's mind control cages, and decades of Kristen's psychotic torment. Marlena knows exactly how to navigate a fractured defensive mind like Rachel's. When Rachel hears about Sophia's suicide and the note blaming Holly, her DiMera instincts are going to kick into overdrive. I think we are going to see a beautifully written, slow burn therapy session where Marlena gently peels back Rachel's defensive layers. Rachel might initially try to protect her mother, but the betrayal of losing her friend is going to sting too much. What exactly is this shocking clue that Rachel is going to reveal? Fans are going absolutely wild with theories right now, and I have a few of my own. What if Sophia sent Rachel a frantic text message right before she went to the DiMera mansion? A text saying something like, "Your mom is making me do something terrible to Johnny? Or what if Rachel, before she was sent back to Bayview, physically witnessed a clandestine meeting between Kristen and Sophia? If Rachel tells Marlena that Kristen and Sophia were secretly working together, it completely destroys the narrative that Sophia was just a depressed, bullied teenager who jumped off a bridge. It instantly ties Kristen to the victim right before the time of death. That is a smoking gun, you guys. If I am being totally honest, I am praying for Kristen's absolute downfall. She has gotten away with murder, kidnapping, and psychological torture for way too long. I am fiercely protective of our guy Chad DiMera, and seeing Kristen parade around the mansion acting like she owns the place makes my blood boil. Chad and EJ are already highly suspicious of her. If Marlena gets this clue from Rachel, she is taking it straight to Brady and John Black. Brady will absolutely lose his mind. He already hates that Kristen has poisoned their daughter's mind, but discovering that Kristen murdered a teenage girl and is now letting another teenager, Holly, take the fall, Brady will use this to strip Kristen of her parental rights forever. And I will be cheering from my living room. Let's pivot to the incredible dramatic irony of this situation. Kristen is currently sitting in the DiMera living room, sipping champagne, completely convinced she is the smartest person in the room. She thinks she has outplayed EJ, she thinks she has eliminated the Sophia problem, and she thinks she is untouchable. But the walls are closing in. She's being haunted by bloody visions of Sophia, which is a classic guilty conscience trope. But the real threat isn't a ghost, it's her own daughter. The poetic justice of Kristen's ultimate destruction coming from the child she claims to love so much is just absolute perfection. It mirrors the classic Greek tragedies that Days of Our Lives does so well. We also have to consider how this impacts the rest of the canvas. Poor Holly Jonas is currently spiraling into a pit of soul-crushing guilt, genuinely believing her harsh words drove Sophia to suicide. Tate and Ari are trying to comfort her, but the trauma is real. If Rachel's clue to Marlena proves that Sophia was murdered, it completely exonerates Holly. It saves that young girl's sanity. And think about Amy Choi. Amy is out there demanding blood, ready to tear Holly apart. When the truth comes out that Kristen DiMera is the real culprit, Amy's wrath is going to shift, and Kristen is going to have a furious, grieving mother coming after her with everything she has. And let's not forget the EJ DiMera factor in all of this. EJ is currently dealing with the miraculous return of Lexi and his own hypnotherapy sessions regarding Kat Green. But EJ despises Kristen. If EJ catches wind that Kristen murdered Sophia because Sophia botched the hit on his son Johnny, it is game over for Kristen. EJ will not just kick her out of the mansion, he will personally hand her over to Commissioner Rafe Hernandez on a silver platter. I think Chad would fully support this move too. Chad has been trying to rebuild a safe, stable life for Thomas and Charlotte, and having a deranged murderer like Kristen living down the hall is unacceptable. Chad and EJ teaming up to finally exile Kristen from the DiMera family would be the ultimate victory for the legacy of the show. But wait, we have to talk about the wildest fan theory circulating right now. What if Sophia isn't actually dead? We saw Sophia haunting Kristen, dripping with blood. Most fans think it's just Kristen's guilty conscience hallucinating, but what if Sophia survived the rock to the head? What if she pulled herself out of the river and is hiding out waiting for the perfect moment to strike? If Sophia is alive, Rachel's clue to Marlena might not just be about a murder cover-up. It might be the key to finding Sophia before Kristen can finish the job. Imagine the cliffhanger Friday episode where Marlena and Brady follow Rachel's clue to an abandoned cabin, only to find a battered, bruised Sophia hiding in the corner. That would be the plot twist of the decade. The psychological warfare happening in Bayview right now is peak soap opera. Rachel is a legacy character in the making. The writers are clearly setting her up for a massive future. By having her be the catalyst that exposes Kristen's darkest crime, they are solidifying Rachel as a major player. She is shedding her mother's toxic influence and choosing to do the right thing, proving that Brady's goodness is inside her after all. Marlena's role as the gentle, probing investigator is exactly why we love Deidre Hall. Nobody does the compassionate interrogation better than Marlena. What do you guys think? Is Rachel really going to throw her mother under the bus? Or will Kristen find a way to silence her own daughter from behind bars? Will Marlena put the pieces together in time to save Holly from going to prison for a suicide that was actually a murder? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below. I am telling you, this storyline is a massive, slow burn that is about to ignite into a 5-alarm fire. You do not want to miss a single second of the drama. Keep it locked right here on the Chad DiMera Channel, and I will see you next time with more explosive updates.